I've generated over $40,000 a month in my business since the start of 2025, all thanks to social media. But I only have 400 followers as of exactly today on my YouTube. The truth is, I did not follow the generic path to get to this point, but along the way, I have found ways that work for me that have allowed me to get to this point much quicker, I think, than most people have. So I'm going to be breaking it all down and giving you the step-by-step playbook to make money from social media, even with a tiny following like I have. First vlog in the new whip. We're going to get coffee. Yeah, we're gonna get some work done at Godfrey's, and then we're gonna go play pickleball, and then after that we have date night planned at Jula's. So taking you guys along today. I feel like I haven't done a vlog that is at home, actually, like ever on my YouTube. Like, it's only been travel. So welcome to a day in the life, even though this is not our typical day. I say non-typical because the boyfriend and I usually go to the gym on weekend mornings, but today was a rare occurrence where we were just like, fuck it, we're not going to the gym. Let's go and be productive at a coffee shop. We headed to Godfrey's, which is a local one here in Falls Church.
We gotta just get that.
I feel like we have to.
The croissant cookie.
And the aesthetic here is so cute. We really did think that we could just whip out our laptops and post up and get a lot of work done, because I have so much work to get done. I have 2 keynotes for this month and so many collaborations that I am so very behind on. So it's gotten to a point where on the weekends, I kind of feel guilty when I am not being productive, hence why we really needed this working session. Little did we know that we actually cannot work here on weekends, so that is why the audio is cut out here. We were about to get kicked out. But what I was working on was creating my keynote speech, the slide deck for my keynote speech that I will be giving in less than a week and that I have not started at all. Thank God I have the power of AI on my side. These days, I have been really liking using Claude to generate content in the same way that most people would use ChatGPT. I had an outline that I had already submitted to the conference organizers, and I just asked Claude to expand on that. And then once it gave me this expanded outline, I plugged it into this tool called Gamma, which is an AI PowerPoint generating tool. I customized it a little bit more, picked a theme, and then I just clicked generate, and then you literally just watch magic happen. Honestly, I am so surprised at how little I use AI, even though I share these AI tools. Like, I do collaborations with AI tools so often. Honestly, like, I had developed a workflow a long time ago where I was very used to just using my own brain and coming up with creative ideas all on my own, but it really doesn't have to be that way. And we also don't have to view using AI as cheating. It really is just a supplemental tool to help us focus our efforts on the more creative aspects and automate away the more mundane administrative tasks. And it absolutely helps me in my life as a tech content creator so much. Okay, leaving Godfrey's prematurely because they said we can't use laptops on the weekends, which totally understand because it was pretty packed in there, so they probably don't want people just like sitting around on their laptops for a while. But I was like, damn, I guess the world doesn't want us to be productive, and we gotta go play pickleball now. We just came back from pickleball. It was a super sweaty session because it was like actually really hot today, and it was the first time that I have played pickleball vigorously since like last year, so your girl's ass was definitely whooped. Thought I would sit down with you guys for a sec to talk about the main topic of this video before we head out to dinner in Alexandria later. This is my Notion tracker to keep track of all of the brand deals that I sign, along with any sales that I have from the courses that I have, such as my LinkedIn Learning courses, filtered for this year, so 2025. You can tell a lot of these are longer term deals, and that's why they're not invoiced yet. But I also have a lot that are like only invoiced and brands have not paid me. So a lot of the money that I am owed is still very much outstanding. But anyway, in 2025, I've had 31 brand deals, and it is totaling 163K. So over the course of 4 months, that's around 40-ish K per month, which is a lot better than I have done last year. Last year, let's see. Okay, past year had about 98-ish deals and like 293. 293 divided by 12 was around like 24.4K per month. So went from 25-ish K per month last year to 40K this year. So I will take that as a win. For those of you who don't know me, I am Megan. I am a full-time tech content creator. I've been doing this for exactly a year now because a year ago I quit my corporate job as a developer advocate in the data science and AI space. At the time when I quit, I only had a LinkedIn platform really. I had just started my Instagram account and had like maybe 5K followers on there. And I most definitely was nowhere close to starting my YouTube because that was started like 2 or 3 months ago, hence the 400 followers right now. So today I'm going to be talking about 4 main tips to start monetizing your social media. One is to find a platform that complements your strengths. 2 is to find a profitable niche to create content about. 3 is to do smart research and outreach to be able to attract brand sponsorships and collaborations. And 4 is to start small and stay consistent. So number 1 is to know your strengths and find the platforms that actually complement those strengths. And by strengths, I mean your communication style. Do you prefer written communication or spoken communication? If you prefer written, then platforms like LinkedIn, X, Threads, those are going to be the ones for you. And that was definitely the case for me when I was first starting out. If you prefer spoken communication, then platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube are going to be the ones for you. Now, if you're first starting out and you don't know which one you are better at, then one exercise I encourage people to do is to imagine that point when you have your platform that you want. And when you are sharing your thoughts to those ideal followers, how are you sharing those thoughts? What is the process to create that content, right? Do you take your time to write out a script, a detailed script before you start rolling the camera? Or do you just start with a rough outline, a vague idea, and just start yapping at the camera? I, again, am definitely the former where I need to write everything down. I need to write out the full script before I start talking to the camera. But if you are somebody just who is good at yapping, then I definitely encourage you to look at platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, just because you prefer one communication style and you're good at that doesn't mean that you should only stick to platforms that suit that communication style. Take me, for example. I started with LinkedIn because I really enjoyed writing, but I really forced myself to go out of my comfort zone and expand to Instagram because there's so much benefit to being diversified across your platforms. I'm prime example that having both the skill set of being able to create written and video content is so powerful because at first when I only had LinkedIn, I was only getting outreach from brands who were sponsoring on LinkedIn. Now, Instagram and other platforms like YouTube have a lot of brands who have experience monetizing and paying for influencer marketing. So it was really in my advantage to expand to another platform like Instagram. And pretty soon I was having brands offer me much larger packages because they knew that I had large followings across multiple platforms. Moral of the story is start with the platform that complements your favorite communication style and strengths the best and really get good at that, but don't limit yourself to that platform. Absolutely challenge yourself and grow outside of your comfort zone to expand to other platforms because being able to say that you have audiences scattered across multiple platforms is such a flex and brands absolutely value that and will pay you accordingly. Okay, tip number 2 is to pick a profitable niche. Now let's talk about the niche part of this tip. Even if you have multiple interests in your life like I do, I enjoy talking about fitness. I enjoy talking about being in the tech space. I enjoy talking about general career advice. I cannot be talking about all 3 of those things simultaneously because let's say somebody new finds my account and they find me for general career advice. And then they see that I'm posting content about fitness too, right? I will absolutely lose them there. It is in your best interest to start with one topic that you can go on and on and on about and create endless content about and really go deep there before expanding to other ones, because you want to get that critical mass of loyal followers who are following you for one thing before you take them along on your other interests. You can't assume that anybody who finds your account has all the same interests as you do. So definitely pick one topic, go deep in there before thinking about expanding to talking about other topics. Now let's talk about that profitable part of this tip. How do you know if a topic or a niche that you have chosen to create content about is profitable? It is by looking at whether there's a significant amount of both consumers and brands in the space. And then also, if there is a significant number, do both sides have significant purchasing power? And the number one way that I find that out is to look at whether there are a significant number of monetized influencers in the space. Keyword monetized, right? You can have a lot of creators in the space, but if they're not posting sponsored content, then you know that you can't be creating Yeah, my dog knocked over this camera. Thanks, Lola. Okay, I was saying that if there are a lot of influencers in the space who are creating sponsored content, then you know that one, the brands have the purchasing power to pay for influencer marketing, and two, the consumers have the purchasing power to absorb that content from the influencers, aka the middlemen, and actually buy the product that the brand is paying influencers to sponsor. AKA, if you know that there are sponsored content creators in the space, then you could become one of them too. Step 3 is to do your market research and do smart outreach to those brands. But which brands to outreach to? Well, we want to go back to those sponsored influencers, right? And take a look at the followings that they have. If you're noticing that the content creators who are creating sponsored content in the space are only really big content creators, then it might be harder for you to break in and do the same. Now, if you notice a lot of small creators who are getting sponsored by companies in the space, such as through UGC content, or the brands that are sponsoring them are like smaller companies, then you know you have the potential to be able to do that as well, at least when you are first starting out. Now, let's say that you find a company that is sponsoring small creators. What you're going to do is cold outreach to them so that you can pitch yourself as a creator to create sponsored content for them. I have a template for the emails that I usually send to brands linked in the caption below, so make sure to check that out. But keyword here is to email these cold pitches. It is well known in the influencer marketing space that legit companies will source and reach out to content creators through email only. If they're reaching out through DMs, that's a sign that they're usually not very experienced with influencer marketing, aka they probably don't have that much money. So the legit brands that actually pay more, they're on email, so it's in your best interest to email them first because that's the form of communication that they're already operating in. Okay, number 4 is to start small and stay consistent. I know it sounds super cheesy, but everybody starts somewhere. Even the biggest creators out there started from zero. And take me, for example, I started small both in the number of collaborations I was doing and also in my following. As I mentioned, when I first started this business, I had only my LinkedIn platform. I had like maybe 70K, which I admit is not a small following, but compared to like your mega Instagram influencers and YouTubers out there, like 70K is very small, and LinkedIn is a pretty non-experienced platform for sponsored posts through influencer marketing. That is definitely changing now, but I started small. I only had one platform at the time, but as I grew, both on LinkedIn specifically, and grew the number of platforms that I had, the amount of inbound that came from brands who were interested in sponsoring me inevitably grew too. As you grow your following, you will inevitably get more interest from brands who want to sponsor you. But how do you get to that point in the first place? How do you grow your platforms so that you can get noticed by these brands? It is first by creating organic content that is authentic to you. Because everybody knows that once you do start getting sponsored, your growth will stagnate because nobody likes to see ads. So take advantage of that time period before you hit that point where you're pumping out ads, like honestly, like I am. That period where brands may not notice you at first, to really create quality content that attracts the followers and eventually the brands that actually align with the topics that you enjoy talking about. And when you create content that you enjoy talking about, it's just so much easier to create that content. And your future followers can tell that you are talking about something that lights you up, that gives you passion, and they're more likely to follow you for that. And lastly, make sure that you are staying consistent, especially during that time when you are first growing your platforms, because I know firsthand how many ups and downs there can be in just the following growth aspect of this whole monetize your social media journey. You're going to have a lot of flop posts, and you're going to also have viral posts that get you a lot of followers. But you can't get those viral posts without posting a lot of flops and learning from them along the way. I think you're supposed to use your hand.
Yeah.
Show me the inside. Oh, that's thick. So that's it for this video. I've recorded this video 5 times thanks to mic issues. So if you found this video valuable and you want to apply these tips and tricks to your own social media platforms, please leave a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe, because I would love to not have a tiny following anymore, but also I will absolutely make more videos like this if you find them valuable. Thank you guys.